where those who perceive truth may strive to make others see.
A big, powerful America, and shoot them for what?
On that continent, we are trying to forge a new identity for which we need each other.
With the last words on my lips, that I am a revolutionary. And you're going to have to keep on saying that.
This is from the Book of Bloomberg, chapter London County Data Center Growth Strains Residents Seeking AI Regulation. And our translator is Linda Poon.
It starts to make our planet look like a software board.
Now, Theo Vaughn, in one of these crazy interviews that he decides to take, is he's made an interesting comment about data centers making the Earth look like a tripboard. And I feel like this particular chapter gives insight into this analogy and possibly the world that Mark Zuckerberg and all the other tech weirdos really imagine for the rest of us.
I think you would prefer the human race to endure, right? You're hesitating.
Yeah, well,
yes?
I don't know. I would.
This is a long hesitation.
It just seems like we're at the point with technology where the physical and the digital worlds should really be fully blended.
Okay. Linda talks about the experience in a community of people that live in what she describes as the data capital of the world. I've not heard this particular description, but it is in the suburbs around Washington, apparently. The idea here is that people were lured in by cheap land that surrounded what they thought would be large swaths of farmland, but what they didn't know is that the city and the actual municipality, they were giving generous tax breaks to tech firms to move in and build data centers everywhere. And now a lot of the residents are trying to organize for a way out of this and maybe even get essentially these tech guys to buy their particular land and have it rezoned as just completely industrial, so it's just for them. But they're running into roadblocks. They're running into genuine roadblocks. When it comes down to the particulars on why, what's happening here, it does feel like the move fast and break things mentality. And these guys, they're essentially buying up our government and the politicians to remove regulations. And this seems to be so that they can move fast and break society, right? And these guys are really being incentivized by people that they pay, right? Because these politicians, they're making these tech oligarchs believe that their money is proof of their genius by the politicians' ability to, or the politicians' willingness to simply not put these guys in contact with regulators and smart people that say, hey, dummy, we don't want this. This isn't what we're looking for in society. Nobody's saying that to them because they have the money, right? They have the money to pay the politicians. So the politicians, most of them, they don't do anything without money. So when it comes down, when they do have money, it's going to control them. It is going to control them. That's unfortunate, but that's kind of the way the system is right now. We have, I think we have a very real problem that's brewing here, because this is this is what we're looking at in the physical, in the actual physical world. But in the 3D, in the digital world, it's different, right? Because when it comes down to the new generations that are coming up, a lot of these guys are perpetually attached to the online world and the programs designed by these tech weirdos, okay? The same way that Linda talks about these communities running into really just how powerful the lobbying is for what's happening in the physical realm. These tech companies are equally and possibly more bullish in terms of the regulations for the digital world, revolving around like data collection, design of their platform in terms of the addictive design for their platform, and just the privacy laws in general, right? And I don't imagine that the pushback is going to be even comparable in terms of what these residents are doing and what Linda's describing and what we're seeing in the digital world. There are like the tech has a lot of money backing it, a lot of money to lobby politicians. Those privacy guys, the data privacy guys, they don't. So we're not, I highly doubt that there is a significant amount of pressure and backlash for what they're doing in the digital space. But even like when it comes down to like kids right now, we're looking at people, or they're coming up now. They're growing up to like just they're starting to grow up into adulthood, and we don't understand a lot of it because a lot of these guys are doing just things that we view as kind of nonsensical in terms of just getting attention and clicks and views, but we don't understand the environment that these guys are really growing up in, right? We may breathe the same air, we may live in the same homes, but to a mind that has to develop in a space that is built and designed by people who are quote unquote moving fast and breaking things, these people are they're treated like numbers. They are treated like numbers, and they don't care. They are literal experiments. Just to give you guys an understanding, opium was legal, right? Doctors were prescribing opium before society said, wait a second, this is crazy what we're doing. That was the life that we lived. And I think we're looking at this today with a lot of these guys, the way they're able to design and operate social media companies. Now, these guys, these environments, they have a lot of power here, and more power than we really like them to have. Now, in terms of the physical, Linda talks about really water, but she talks about water very briefly. And we'll talk a little bit about we'll go into the situation regarding water in the next segment, but I want you guys to understand that data, like, we don't talk nearly enough about what data centers really require in land and water, and the resources that they really consume, even in energy. The city in general, when they were facing this particular backlash, they were bringing up, and they were like literally pushing back with the idea that these guys bring in a lot of money to the community, right? And these people that are organizing, they seem to think that the costs outweigh the benefits, right? Because you got this constant hum in the background from data centers that are completed.
It starts to make our planet look like a software board.
And the construction booms when they're being actually built, And just the idea of essentially living in Motherboard Gaia, we're looking at a problem. We're looking at a very serious problem, because these weird tech bros, they're going to say, oh, the peasants can live in the, in the actual, in these particular vicinities, because they can't afford to live anywhere else. And we'll just, kind of live in our own little, sanctuary cities or whatever they create. They're definitely, it's insane, but these guys don't live connected to reality in a lot of cases, and they have a very real mental illness, if you ask me, in terms of how they actually operate and try to move society. And just to give you guys an understanding, the US has more than 5,400 data centers, and that's more than 10 times the number in the next closest market in Germany. I'm hesitant, this is a direct quote from the article. I'm not sure but what's being said about China, or if China's even taken into account here, but we are on the forefront. When it comes down to politicians who are able to be bought off, this kind of seems like a mark here in terms of how easy it is for these guys to start building and moving fast and breaking society. And it really does look like we're going to be one of the first societies to experience Motherboard Gaia, okay? And in this Renaissance, I think we really need to learn from the Amish. The Amish, okay. They completely rejected society, or rejected technology. And I would advocate for this Renaissance, another branching out, right? But I don't think that we should completely reject technology to the extent that the Amish have done it. But I believe we need to create communities and systems around reestablishing our relationship with technology, because we want something that improves our particular health and happiness, right? We want technology to complement our ability, our happiness and health as human beings. And that's not what we're seeing. Now, I'm particularly designing the Foundry to harness the power of technology, and it's really made up as a place that was essentially harness the power of networks to bring people together in the 3D world. And this idea here, in terms of what's coming about, we definitely, this is well established that this isn't working, right? I'm not sure when they push back with opium, but we are at a point to where we need to push back in terms of technology, in terms of what's happening with these weird tech guys and the amount of power and influence that they have over society. Because essentially, we don't want the tech bros to be able to run our society and have Elon Musk move fast and break things whenever he sees fit.
Where those who perceive truth may strive to make others see.
A big, powerful America, and shoot them for what?
On that continent, we are trying to forge a new identity for which we need each other.
With the last words on my lips, that I am a revolutionary. And you're going to have to keep on saying that.